Satire has always been dark and naughty, but it's also been the source of some of the greatest literature, some of the greatest art, and some of the greatest music and creativity that we have ever known. We only have to think. We only have to think of ancient Rome, Juvenal, Ovid even, to think of the greatness of satire, Catullus. We only have to think back to ancient Greece, to the work of Aristophanes, and then we think back to the great caricatures and cartoons of Gilray, and ultimately the amazing work of Punch, and the development of great artists like Tenniel, and even people more recently like Papas and E.H. Shepard, so many of them going on from the pages of Punch to illustrate some of the greatest children's books, some of the greatest books that we have in existence. I think we need to encourage satire and mockery, but we need to be very, very careful, particularly in the light of the Alex Belfield case. We need to be very careful where the line is drawn between humour and vicious abuse. Now, if we are going to allow the government to draw that line, we are, I think, in danger. If we are going to allow the courts to draw that line, then it's going to be done retrospectively and more people are going to be hurt. What we need to do, or what the government needs to do, or rather what the Department of, what's it called? DCMS, Digital Culture, Media and Sport. Well, of course, that needs to be broken up. But what the person who runs that next, as soon as Nadine Dorries is out of the way, because she's been utterly inefficient for over a year, as soon as Nadine Dorries gets out of the way, the next incumbent of the DCMS needs to find a way to restructure her failed internet online safety bill, to restructure it as a positive campaign where people who are involved in online content can turn to departments, others, offices, individuals for help and guidance so that we get it right. What we need is the same sort of thing for online entertainment that we have for traditional face-to-face entertainment. Face-to-face entertainment is staffed with agents and management, with unions, so that the people who are exposed and who are putting their creativity forward know that there is a background of support. That doesn't exist for anyone working in online content. It doesn't work for anybody. It doesn't exist for anybody working in YouTube or in Instagram or TikTok or whatever these other platforms may be. What the government is proposing is to give these particular platforms the authority and the duty to police themselves, to censor content. Now, these platforms, they weren't set up as police forces. They were set up to enable content to be posted and shared. So they either have to redefine themselves, in which case they're probably going to do it badly, rather like the reality TV production companies, or we have to harness that valuable mammoth amount of talent that we've got around this country to say, this is how you do it, and here are the agents and the unions and the management support services, the PR teams, who are going to put themselves at the service of these social media giants and of the people who contribute content to the social media platforms. That is the way forward. The government can lead and the government can promote. If the government is simply going to apply a stick and make the platform providers apply that stick, I think we're going to be in a very negative space, and I suspect we're going to be seeing an increase in VPNs. VPNs that, of course, we see now across Russia. You know, Russia Only a year ago, VPN use was well known in Russia, but it accounted for what 6 to 15% of internet traffic. Now it's up to about 60%. It is absurd, you know. So if the government wants to see most of its content creation exported abroad, well, that's what it will do if it applies the whip. It needs to apply positivity, and it could lead the way in transforming this industry. If we provide a way out, then people will take it, and they will not be acting in a dodgy form. The same thing is true, of course, about asylum seekers. We'll deal with that on another day, but I've already voiced my opinion. But positivity is a significantly more practical solution than negatively carping at individual issues, because you'll never get them all. You can't.